Hello, hi, welcome. Well, you're not yet, but welcome if you're rewatching this at a later point. And for those of you who are joining me live at some point, you're also welcome. So today was the Tsuranga Conundrum, episode 5, season 11 of Doctor Who with Jodie Whittaker and Carew. And that one was a bit good. Just as a quick preview of my thoughts on the episode. That was that one was I liked that one. That was fun. And it was action. So if you're new here, if you've not seen one of these before, well, first of all, thank you. You're welcome to hang around and watch. But if you are new, I talk in general on my general thoughts and feelings on the episode. And then I hold up my sign. I adjust everything appropriately. And I get my... sorry, everything's a bit of a mess at the moment. And my lovely assistant Forks here. Hello, there's a person here. My lovely assistant Forks holds up the sign where we're into spoilers. But at the moment, we are not into the spoilers. So you are... If you're watching this just out of curiosity to see how this episode of Doctor Who was, without wanting to be spoiled, then stick around until the sign goes up. If not, then it's all good. We're all good. So, it was fun. Last week's was kind of weird and creepy. This week's was, I would say it's kind of a bottle show, but it's not, because a bottle show tends to be like one or two sets and like a minimal cast. But it was, you had a lot of sets. So okay, it wasn't a bottle show, but it is, it all takes place in one ship, and you've got some really interesting guest cast members. Just to give a quick overview, it's a flying ambulance. It's a medical ship that's taken them from A to B, and you've got the two medics, the two, like, a pair of siblings, and her brother and sister team, and it's her assistant android Ronan, and then you've got a pregnant man. So they're our guest cast, and I have to say they were really good. I don't recognise any of them. I mean, they might have been in other shows in or films and stuff. Nobody I immediately recognise. No sort of what I would consider a big guest star. If they've been like in loads of stuff, and I'm just being really dumb about them having been in things, then that's on me. But that being said, really good, especially the brother and sister team. Decker, Decker and Eve. They were really good. Her especially, Eve, she gets some really good powerhouse moments. I mean, the overall story, without spoiling it, is they're on a ship, they're going to go T to B, and they get gremlined, essentially. This creature, which we discover is called a Pating, is eating his way through the ship. And that's basically the drive. It's like, how do they get themselves out of this situation and get everyone safely to the hospital planet? Or, So, yeah. Guest cast were really good. Don't know their names, but they were very good. Everyone else, our main cast, very good. They're still coming together, and again, we've got some really nice moments between Graham and Ryan, but also again. Okay, so here's something I've noticed: Yaz and Ryan get nice scenes together. Ryan and Graham get some nice scenes together so far, and they all get moments and stuff with the Doctor. But so far, I haven't seen like Yaz and Graham kind of have a moment, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just it's an observation I've just realised. So that would be nice at some point in the future. We get to see them have a moment. Yeah. So talk about the little CGI creature. I'd say it's probably not much bigger than this. And obviously you can't get quite a good scale of how big But so you've got this little gremlin creature called the Pating, who, I'm gonna be honest, my initial reaction was, "Oh, that's adorable!" And he's like all teeth and ah, and I'm like, "Nope, you're still cute. I don't care if you're being all trying to be all mean and vicious. You're still cute." She at one point she sonics him to try and to scan him and see what he is and all this stuff, and he eats he puts the Sonic and eats it. I was like, "Oh, he's in my Sonic!" And then he spits it out again, but all the energy's drained from it. So that was fun. Yeah, I just think it was really fun and really. I admit it, the monster of the week was adorable, and not in the creepy way that Slovene had baby faces, but with his big lumbering creatures that were just horrible. The Bating was adorable, vicious but adorable. So yeah, CGI on the Pating, because we can talk about that in general. Mostly pretty good, but not as good as I'd say as last week's Spiders. But I don't know if that's because they created it wholesale. I won't say that I didn't ever think he wasn't in the room. I didn't think that they were looking at it, but maybe because with the Spiders they had something to in real world to compare to look at, to get images of, and this obviously they they had to make it up wholesale. So you did believe it was in the room, but you are sometimes kind of aware it is like a CGI adult creation, but still cute. I still want a doll of it, or maybe like one of those, like a stress doll, so it's like slightly squishy and with like teeth. Yeah, I'm not sure what else I can say non-spoiler. Like I said, the overall plot is they're on a ship, and they're trying to get from A to B safely without being eaten or the ship being otherwise destroyed. So yeah, good plot, good acting. The android Ronan was quite funny. He had a really funny line that I'll have to remember that, but I think I've just forgot it again. It'll come back to me. But honestly, lot of fun. Excuse me. Fun episode, lots of running around, lots of energy, really good character moments between everyone, between all our main characters and the guest cast, all very good. Everyone gets a really good moment to shine. And yeah, I'm not really sure how much more I could sort of say about it, without it being, without getting spoilers. So definitely, I would recommend this one. It's a lot of fun. Outside of specific character stuff, and especially a couple of conversations and references between Graham and Ryan, I would say that it does kind of stand on its own. You could, if you just want like a spaceship run around adventure story with a little monster causing havoc, then it is a good one to just put on and watch. Yes, there's some character moments and continuity that you're not going to get, that you sort of will go above your head, but overall I would say this is a good episode to just sit down and watch and have fun with, even if you haven't seen all the other episodes, although obviously in the context of all the episodes it does make more sense. But yeah, fun episode, works well as a standalone. Cute monster creature, and I don't know if it's weird to call it cute, even when it is bearing all its teeth and being a bit vicious. I don't know, maybe it's because it's small. At one point you see it from behind, it's got like the classic round cartoon butt cheeks. If it wasn't cute and puppy fatty, would I, small and puppy fatty, would I still think it's cute? Probably. It really does have an adorable face at big baby guys. So yeah, cute and more cute than Slovene, because because it wasn't oversized for its face. Oh, and for the record, I know Slovene was a family name, Ratsacorico Falabatoris, okay? Thank you. Right, I think now we are going to go into the spoiler zone. So if you haven't actually watched the episode, I recommend it. It's fun, but we are now entering specifically the spoiler zone. So bear with me a moment while I set up my sign with my phoenix going everywhere, and move my house cushion. I'll hold that up. And hey, you being weird? You've been good so far. Oh, come on. Sorry about this. Professionalism live. Come on, hold up. Stay. Okay, anyone watching live? How does that look? Yeah, we can see it. Okay, so we are now officially in the spoiler zone. So, good cold opening. We literally are on a junk planet, and the Doctor and crew are looking for... I don't know if she actually said specifically what it was, but they've all got metal detector things, and she said, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna find it because I've set the scanners specifically to look for this item." And so they're kind of bantering back and forth, and Graham's like, "Oh yeah, they've been there for a few hours already, and like, oh, I didn't come around here to go junk, junk hunting." And she says something about taking them to see the some Rainbow Falls or something to swim in them, which sounds really nice actually. Sounds like a pretty adventure. And he's, "I'm not complaining, I'm just needle haystack." She's, "I know," and like something about, was it this planet or another planet, because the whole galaxy is apparently a junk galaxy. Oh, 5 people, hello. And then so then Graham's like, "Oh, what a hit." And he's like, "Is it the parts you need?" "Oh no." And she's like, "Oh crap, I'm really sorry, nobody move." And it's Sonic mine. Oh, thumbs up, thank you. So they basically get sonicked to death, which is how they end up on the Tsuranga, because it's all, they're waking up. You see it go all blurry, and the Doctor's woken up, and Astos, the male medic, they're not specified if the doctors specifically or not, they basically explain it to her, and she kind of goes around a blind tizzy, saying, "I gotta get back to my ship. I don't like leaving my ship, especially on a on a junk planet where people go to scavenge. It's my home. It's their home," which I thought was quite sweet. And so there's a lot of run around where we meet the other characters. Like I said, we meet the brother and sister. Eve is a general in her air force, and the brother, we find out, is an engineer. And then Ronan is her consort, and Dacus is like, no, that means he's her android. You can tell from the hair. So they're a little bit secretive. There's some stuff going on with them. They go into the next room, and there's a man, and, "Oh, all right, mate, you're okay." "Oh yeah," and it reveals his big belly. He's like, "Oh, blimey." It turns out his race have babies. The men have babies. The men have boys, and the women have girls. And there's a bit later on where they were like, "Oh, that doesn't happen on our planet." And it's like, yeah. So he's also only pregnant for a week. So that's a storyline that's happening. So he's being almost ready to drop. The general, her brother, well, the general and Ronan, even Ronan, are being a bit secretive and not telling the brother everything. So they've got their story going on. And then the Doctor's still kind of running around because she finds out, "Oh, we're on a planet." No, we're on a ship. Because she thinks, "Oh, I just need to get off here." And then that's why she's running around. Because she's trying to find the exit. And so, "Oh no." And she's, "Oh no, I'm being selfish. I'm so wrapped up in myself, I didn't realise vibrations. We're on a ship." And it turns out they've been in space for 4 days. So that was cool. So she calms down enough. She and Astos go to the control. Well, she runs to the control center, and he's like, no, you're still healing, because apparently the sonic device basically scrambles your body. There's this whole thing of like, where's your medical tags? And we don't have them. Which is kind of weird, because I recently heard a Ninth Doctor adventure where they had like medical implants, and that was good. The reason I say that is because it's a guy called Pete Walsh who does these really great Chris Eccleston impressions, and he's reading it as the Ninth Doctor, and they're really good. I enjoy those, but yeah, I don't even think they're like Big Finish official. They're just like fan made audio productions, which are really good. I really enjoy it, but not official. So they had like a whole subplot with medical implants. I guess it's not that unusual, especially not for the 67th century, which is what they happen to be in. So yeah, as she's kind of running around the ship and trying to work out what's going on and how to get off and how to get back to the TARDIS, Astos is like, no, my responsibility is to you and all my other patients to make sure we get back to... Oh... No, it's not plasma. It's like a blood thing. Something one. Get back to the main base. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm being selfish. So she calms down. And then as she's looking at the thing, she's like, why are we going this way? Oh, it's an asteroid thing. All right, it was a very busy part of space. Yeah, we didn't realise, because basically they got picked up because their ship sensed that they were in danger from the sonic mine. So it kind of went on autopilot to pick them up. And then she's like, what's that flashing thing? Oh, no. And that's the T'Ping. Pating. It breaks its way into the ship. The ship repairs its shields, but then the Pating is basically running around everywhere, causing havoc. Including jettisoning the life pods, which, had they stayed put, they would have had enough for everyone to get in and be safe. But of course, they're not. And Astos, okay, spoiler zone, Astos has a death scene. He gets into a pod by mistake, and then gets jettisoned, which then blows up because things were going fizz bang all around him. Before he dies, he gives the lady medic, I want to say Merrin. I'm not good with names. But yeah, lady medic, we'll just call her M for now. He gives her like, I believe in you, because like, he's saying he's like on 4 or 5 tours. This is her second tour, and she's still lacking sort of self-confidence. And he's like, I believe in you. You can do this. You'll be fine. Don't worry. Boom. So that was a shame, because I liked him. He was a fun character. But maybe that was kind of the thing. Like, he was a very competent medic. And there's nothing bad. I mean, I'm not saying that Em isn't a competent medic, but she needs that confidence boost. And if he'd stayed on board, then maybe, maybe she wouldn't have got the boost she needed. Or maybe they needed the actor for a couple of days. I don't know. But shame he died, but it sort of kicks everything else in. So yeah, that's kind of that. Meanwhile, Ronan is asking Em for more adrenaline, or adrenaline blockers, sorry. And she's like, well, we've not got a huge amount. It's not being fair to the other patients in case they need something. And he's like, oh, I wouldn't want someone from, he's being a bit underhanded to get these different medical supplies. And so I wouldn't want anything to be, happen because you're, young medic and all this. It's your, like, early in your tours. And she's like, oh, okay. And so you kind of get the impression that maybe Ronan and Eve are being a bit underhanded, that maybe something a bit untoward going on there. And actually, it turns out it's not. Eve was lying about her medical condition. She said it's one thing, like something to give a C or a K, and like Crohn's disease, I think. And which her brother's like, no, you're not supposed to take adrenaline suppressants with your disorder if it is indeed the thing that he thinks it is. And as it turns out, she has pilot's heart, basically, because she's like the most decorated general. She's like the hero of heroes for her planet. And the idea that someone like her could have this disease, disorder that basically why she needs adrenaline blockers. You know, one big jolt could knock her straight out. And he actually said that, I think it was like something like 900 days continuous flight, which originally confused me, but then when you get to the end and you realise, oh, it's kind of like almost like a mech suit. You know, if you've seen Pacific Rim, they've got those like people suits that they walk around in. So maybe it wasn't necessarily that she was piloting an actual vessel in space, or in orbit or space, or wherever the battles were taking place. Maybe she was just working at mech on the ground. That's how she was able to go 900 days. But that's not made explicit. It's kind of, once it gets to the end and she's they're doing a manual override on the ship to take it through the asteroid belt so they can get back to the base quicker. Then because she's basically got these gloves and you know, like sensors here and like a hard display here, she's basically walking it through. So I guess that's, you know, I'm not inferring, assuming, I don't know, but yeah, I'm guessing that's how they do it. So basically she does these flight walks, and is a hero, like one of the most decorated generals, and that's fair play. You know, you're presenting this strong female character and saying, yeah, I'm the hero, and the brothers kind of feel like, and I'm just an engineer. And I'm like, dude, you're an engineer. There's nothing to be scoffed at there. Engineers, one for engineers. The pilots, all the other military people, they couldn't do their jobs without the machines that you build and maintain. But because she is such a hero and so decorated, he does feel a little bit like he's like under her shadow. So, also, I don't know, it's like, because I know we have military female heroes today. Yeah, we have them. But I don't know if it's like a cliche dodge where she's the hero and he's not, because then people could make arguments about, you know, women aren't all engineers either. So maybe I'm just sort of being a bit looking for something where it isn't there. But I like the fact that she was so highly decorated and nobody questioned it. One thing I did find interesting between both Eve and Astos was when the Doctor introduced herself, because she's Eve's in a book called like a Hero Chronicle or something like that. You know, that she is listed in that book. Eve is, and the Doctor has like a paragraph or a chapter or something. And she goes, no, it's not. It's just a very popular name. And then she pops her head back around the door and said, actually, it was more of a volume than a chapter. So she's trying to be modest, but then like, nah, sod it. So the general, Eve, recognises the Doctor's name. And then Astos also kind of reacts to it like he knows or understands what it is. So that was interesting. Nothing sort of further went from it, but it did mean that they kind of trust her and allow, you know, basically let her take charge. So yeah, they M has like an ocular implant camera thing to which she can like obviously access upload information, and they're basically saying it's like, you know, for training purposes and you know, liability and all this stuff. And Yas is like, oh, like my an upgraded version of my camera, my breast camera, which makes sense. So she can access her camera, puts it into the database because she saw the thing, and that's how they find out exactly what it is, because the Doctor initially doesn't recognize it. She doesn't recognize what this small little creature is. So then they get, the computer tells them everything they ever wanted to know, including the fact that it doesn't eat organic matter, so that's good. But it does eat pretty much everything else, which is bad. It also has poisonous skin, so nobody can touch it, and it can't be contained because anything that could possibly contain it, it eats. So, vicious little bugger that will eat everything around you, but not you. So the ship will blow up around. So either the ship's going to blow up around you, or it'll eat you into the vacuum. So fun. So they're all kind of like, oh, okay, well, at least I'm feeling more informed now. So yeah, meanwhile all this stuff's happening, and Ryan and Yaz, I think at one point, go to see Yoss, the pregnant guy, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to. I'm not sure about it. I'm going to give it away," because he's showing. Oh, that was it. So the doctor says, "I'm going to need everyone to gather in this one central room, because we've got a plan. To make a plan." And so they go find Yoss to say, "Hey, we're all meeting over here. 7 minutes or 6 minutes by the time they get there." And so he's like, "Oh, we want to see the." He's really saying he doesn't want to keep the baby because he doesn't feel like he's ready. And he's like showing, "Oh, do you want to see the pictures?" And it's like, here's like an hour, here's 2 hours, here's like a week, and it's like a whole baby, basically. And he's like, "Oh," and Ryan's, "Oh, mate, you're making a person. I couldn't do that." And Yoss is like, "I know." And Yaz is like, "No, he really can't." So that's when Yoss is like, "Oh, I don't want to keep it, giving it away because I don't feel ready." And then Ryan and Yaz end up having a heart-to-heart. This is where we find out what happened to Ryan's mum. And again, we're in the spoiler zone. She died of a heart attack. She was doing the washing up, massive heart attack, straight over. And Ryan was only 13 when he was the one who found her body. So that was kind of like, right in the field. That was oh, okay, I had to take a moment there. I was like screaming to Jess, "Hug him." I know he's not a huggy person, but hug him. You need to hug. And he's like, "I don't even know why I'm telling you all this stuff." And so that's sweet. We finally find out what happens to his mum, but it's not too it's not too info dumped. It's like, it makes sense that they would ask about his because they were talking about his dad and not always being there for him, and like he hadn't seen him at that point. I don't know if it was like a year since, like, from last time we saw him to today, or a year like from when he last saw him to like around Grace's funeral. But yeah, at least a year that he's last seen his dad. And so from like talking about his dad leads on to talking about his mum. So it's kind of an info dump, but it is an organic flow in the conversation. So they create a plan, which is basically to protect the antimatter engines, which is a really cool spirally thing. And there's this really great moment where the doctor's explaining everything, because like Yaz is all like, "Oh, antimatter, I have heard about that stuff." And like, CERN and everything, yeah? And yeah, and so she's basically, the doctor's explaining how antimatter's formed and like how amazing this ship is, basically saying that this spirally engine that we're looking at right now is like the iPhone version of CERN. It gets, as technology moves on, it gets smaller. And all this really great speech about how beautiful and wonderful it is, and like, I love it, like literally and actually, I love this. And Daka, the engineer, is like, "Yeah, it's old tech." It's like, yeah, okay. But so that was kind of cool. So basically, we've got a plan: protect the antimatter drive, because the Pating will come and eat that, because big powerful energy source. So Ronan and Yaz protecting the spiral, the antimatter thing. Eve and Daka are, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but Eve and her brother are basically doing the piloting. He's like jerry rigging so she can, because otherwise the room's basically white. And then Graham and Ryan are helping Yoss. They're basically, he picks them to be his birthing buddies, because he's got to have a couple of blokes with him to be there for him. So that's everyone split up. And yeah, basically it's a lot of all action. So we got Eve piloting the ship with her brother supporting her. Really, actually, some quite sweet moments between as much as you can between Ronan and Yaz, because obviously they don't know him. He's a droid of little words. He does kind of fall into the sort of android cliche of not using contractions and being sort of very precise in his wording. But the line that I really liked is the doctor's explaining something later on, because she works out. So the base detects that there's trouble on the ship. If they confirm there's trouble on the ship, they basically blow it, because obviously it counts as a contamination, and whilst it's far off in space, it's not going to hurt anybody else. So I get that logic. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So, one ship with, what, a dozen people versus an entire station populace. You protect the populace. Not even a question. But the Doctor's like, no, but we can still save this situation. So she keeps knocking out the signal that says, we are in danger. No, we're not in danger. And she keeps saying, no, we're not in danger. And basically after 3 strikes, they basically blow you up anyway. And she works out, hang on, we're too far away from missiles. Oh, there's a bomb. Oh, it's under the antimatter. So she pulls out the antimatter, the bomb. It's like a semicircle with lights on it. And she's trying to explain the plan to Yaz and Ronan. And Ronan's like, are you also having, was it a comprehension deficit? That was it. Are you also experiencing a comprehension deficit? And Yaz is like, every day. It's like, yes. That's a great... I have such a... I don't know if that's the right word, but I really enjoy when you take normal mundane words or expressions, and it's not necessarily a sci-fi trope. Like, are you experiencing confusion? Are you confused about something? And then they change it into a different sort of longer thing. Comprehension deficit is probably up there now. My other favourite one is Rabbit of Negative Euphoria for Unhappy Bunny. So that was in a radio sitcom, so it's not necessarily a sci-fi trope, but I like when they do that. You get the was it the one Data used once? Pursuing an untrained ornithoid, wild goose chase. So yeah, so basically, they one point the Fating does try and come to the antimatter. They manage to kick it away. They get rid of it. They have like a sterile blanket thing, which means that Yaz can touch it. Meanwhile, so brother and sister are flying the ship, and Yos is giving birth to his son. And at one point, he's like, "Come on, mate, we're here for you." Like, I don't even know who you are. We're still here for you. And this is where Graham and Ryan kind of have their heart to heart. He's like, "I've seen every episode of Call the Midwife." I'm like, "Call the Midwife, really?" He's like, "Yes. While you were upstairs on YouTube, I was learning life skills." And then there's a joke about, because they have to do basically C-section on Yos, which answers that question. And do they not have that on Call the Midwife? I turned away from the squeamish parts. So they're kind of having banter. They're talking about how Grace, being a nurse, would be kind of proud of them, and they think, no, she'd be laughing at us. Which is true. She'd be proud and be laughing, I think. So yeah, basically, the reason the Doctor's got the bomb is because there's Pating looking for energy, and it's a big lump of cheese that gives it all the energy. She asks Yaz for a countdown, like with number between 1 and 100, and Yaz is like 50 minutes. Is that a platonic number or something? I don't know. But then she gives all the reasons why 51's a good number, including a Hamilton joke. She says, I love that play. I've seen all 900 casts. I've not seen it. Is anyone else here seen Hamilton? Because I haven't yet. I hear it's good. It still does my brain in that Lin-Manuel Miranda is was it Alfie or whatever his name was in House, like the one of the other inpatients when House was in hospital. That kind of like, whoa, that's the same guy. Cool. So yeah, basically she saves the day by feeding it a bomb. It absorbs all the energy, becomes this little glowy ball, and blows the airlock and sends it off into space, because it's a hardy little creature. It can live in space. And she said that'll keep it fed for a long time. So they don't kill the creature, which is nice. I mean, it's set out to be invulnerable anyway, but they don't set out to deliberately try and kill it. They're just like, okay, how do we contain this? How do we make us safe? But so yeah, the baby's born safe. Yos decides to name it in honor of Graham and Ryan by calling it Avocado, because apparently that's in his planet, that's a great Earth myth, the hero avocado pear. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's coming from. Or even if it was reference to the avocado baby, it would make sense. And then he was like, "Oh, I thought you were going to call it Graham Ryan or Ryan Graham." And he goes, "Don't be silly, it'll be a laughing stock." And he goes, "Oh, so you named it, does that mean you're keeping him?" He's like, "Well, I'll give fatherhood a try." So that's nice. Eve has a congenital heart disease. She is flying a very large ship under extreme duress in a way that she's not. She's a very good pilot, but as she said, this tech, what they're proposing, isn't her thing. And yes, very sadly, she does die. Like I said, she was a really great character. I kind of set up in the beginning to think maybe is she going to be some kind of antagonist? No, she's just keeping secrets from her brother to protect him, really. Because she says, "I was always scared that one day I wouldn't come back from a battle and you'd get a missive and you'd be on your own. I didn't want that for you." And he's like, "No, of course I did. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you about my disease. It's okay. There's something I've never told you." They share "I love yous." I love you, bro. I love you, sis. Which is a really sweet moment. And then the next time we cut back to them, she's on the floor and he's in the pilot's seat stand. And Doctor's like, "You know what you're doing?" He said, his name's his race. Between them, we got about 3 or 4 different races. So the siblings were one race. Yos was a different race. Presumably the medics were their own race. And then the android. So a lot going on here character-wise. And he said, yeah, basically, because of who I am, because of where I grew up, I have trained for this. So even though he's an engineer rather a pilot, he still had basic pilot training, which is an interesting concept. He gets them in safely to the base, which, as it turns out, is a space station rather than a planet, which you initially think, oh, it's a planet. It's not, it's a space station, which even makes more sense why you don't want a metal-eating creature on a space station that is basically a hospital. So, yeah. She dies saving the world, the ship. The baby's born safely. They have, few, they sort of gather around Randa's like, will you, join us in prayers? Like, oh, the doctor's like, oh, we, so basically, I think he gave it a specific name, but it's the funerary rites. It's the funerary prayers for her soul, her spirit, her life force, whatever, to move on to the next world and basically honouring her and her sacrifices and her life. And that was a really nice, moving speech. Yos knew the speech, so I guess they kind of neighbouring planets or something. And the doctor knew the speech, and then, Yaz, Ryan, and Graham just stood in state. And yeah, so she was able to arrange transport back to the junk planet where we started off on, and that's more or less the end. That's the whole thing. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. It was a good runaround episode. Good cast, good guest cast. Everyone has some good moments. Yaz gets a bit of action adventure. She gets to drop kick the Pating in its blanket to get it as far away as possible before it came and attacked the engines again. And everyone works really well together. There's nothing felt, because the episodes are longer. They're 50 minutes now, as opposed to the original 45, or what it was supposed to be. I mean, the original were 25 minutes, so it never felt too long. It always felt there was enough going on that it didn't drag, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, it was good. I'm trying to remember if there were any other funny lines or moments that kind of oh yes, good. And honestly, I can't. I'm not saying there weren't good moments, but nothing that made me particularly laugh or go, huh. Excuse me. So with that, unless anyone else has got some thoughts on my share, very non-chatty today. No, that's fine if you're just sitting and watching, but I'm last few weeks I've had people talking to me, and today nobody's talked to me, which is fine. It means I'm not distracted by your questions, unless you have questions. Do any of you two that are currently still watching have anything you want to add or say or ask? Nope, fair enough. In that case, I will say, yep, enjoyed it. Good episode. A lot of fun. I'm definitely going to ramble mode now, so I'm going to sign off now. So I've been Michelle. Seriously, thank you for watching. If you have been, you're awesome. Appreciate you. I've been Michelle. You've been listening, and I will see you next week. Bye.